Dan and I met in an a cappella group at UCLA many, many moons ago. And we realized we liked playing music with instruments as well. And we just kind of started writing music together with no purpose, not like trying to be a band or not really trying to play out. But then we ended up getting a couple gigs randomly because people knew that we wrote music, and played in a bunch of different projects at first. And Hunter Hunted actually started a couple years ago when we had outgrown more of like acoustic stripped down setup, and we wanted to be able to create music that could
go big.
Yeah, go big, right?
Or go home.
Yeah, I mean, we love acoustic sessions, but I think with our setup now, we can do that and play really loud music.
I think because like our backbone, our foundation stems more from an acoustic approach, and so going big really was just like sonically not being held back by just like what we were on stage, and more of just like, you know, not being afraid to like test stuff out in the studio and then trying to figure out how to accomplish that on stage. You know, in the past we would record being like, oh no, we can only have one guitar in there and only, you know, like one keyboard, whatever, because that's what we do live. And now it's a lot more of just experimenting and just, you know, going big.
Patience never had to hold my hand. It never had to.
Vocals are always kind of the forefront of everything we do in melody. But usually what happens is one of us will have a melody and some chords that we're singing over and over, and we'll bring it to the other person. We've done songs from the beginning where we're just like in a room and like, all right, let's write a song, but there's like 95% of those songs are terrible when we're trying to write, or like if we're in a co-writing session, usually it just feels very forced. And so we found that the best songs are ones that just like kind of happen when we're not
with no purpose.
Yeah. And so one of us will feel something and write it, and it'll kind of stick around for a while. Like some of our songs were written like 5 years ago, and they've just kind of always stuck around. And so then we're like, eventually we record it and put it on a record. And it's always collaborative, but usually it starts from a seed of one of us.
I was only operating.
We go in with a vision of how we want the songs to sound, and sort of like the pre-production done, we'll demo it out on our computers at home. We're building these amazing home studios, and but yeah, we don't have the skills really to make it sound like how it sounds in our heads. And so we'll go in with the pre-production done, and then not utilizing the producer would be very silly in our opinion. So we're like, this is another person who's extremely talented at what they do and can bring creative elements to the table. And so we always try to be open to that and create a space that's like as collaborative as possible.
Yeah, we never realized actually, like, you know, we're pretty self-sufficient, and so we never really like thought that we would need to rely on a producer. But like with like the right person, like, you know, a producer can really bring like a song to life. And so we've been really lucky to work with, you know, some pretty awesome producers.
All the people go, all the people go.
It's funny because for us, actually, festivals aren't all that different than the touring that we've done, because up until now, we've only done support tours. And this summer, we're doing our first headlining tour, so it's like gonna transition. But when you go out there, most of the people in the audience don't know who you are, don't know who we are. And so the same thing happens at festivals. I mean, we're kind of assuming that people aren't gonna come in there like excited for what we're doing, which is actually kind of nice because they don't have expectations, so you're not going to disappoint them. Most people actually assume that an opening band or a band that's playing like an early slot at a festival is not going to be good. And so it's sort of nice to come in there and just like put on the best show we possibly can. I mean, the festivals are different because it's outside. Like there's a fun energy no matter what. People are coming just like to have a good time. And so I think no matter who else is playing on the lineup, we just kind of do the same thing that we would do at any show.
I know we're gonna feel it coming down.
We love LA. Like we definitely rep LA. And I think that some people have said that our music sounds like California, whatever that means, sunshine. But it's interesting because, as I said, we started playing music in a very organic way that was just for fun. Like, it's like we like to play baseball, and we're just like playing on some field. This may go, by the way, I don't know how this is going.
He doesn't even play baseball.
Yeah, I don't play baseball. I did in junior high. And so then all of a sudden, you know, there's a stadium erected around you, and you have coaches, and you have investors, and you have a whole other, you know, you're playing against these teams, and you have to be competitive, but you're still just playing baseball for fun. But like, there are so many other people invested in the process that suddenly it just feels like there are other motivations besides just playing music. And it is really hard to just play for the fun of playing baseball. This is our first time working like in the big leagues, to continue that analogy. Well, this is great. It's great to be in LA, because I think you know, there's no other place that is as connected to the industry and like as close to our fingertips as LA. And so I think like there's obviously a huge benefit of being around those people and around really talented musicians too. But at the same time, it's just like, business is hard to just kind of like keep at business, you know? We balance each other out, I'll say that. Like, we've been playing and hanging out together for a long time, like 8 years or something, maybe longer. And I kind of feel like in our music and in life, we are sort of opposites, which is good. I mean, I personally don't want to be singing alone ever, and I know that Dan doesn't either. But like collectively, my voice is kind of low and gruff, and his is sort of more high and pure. And collectively, like, our voices just work better together than they do alone. And I kind of think I'm on an analogy tip today, if you haven't noticed. Like, that's sort of how we operate in the
So when
band.
we show up in a hotel room, like, he'll get into the room and explode all over the bed, and then I will just, like, you know, his suitcase and clothes are everywhere. I'll just stay in my little corner, you know, to give him his space, because he needs a lot of space.
I need a lot of space.
And then in the car, I don't know, like, we're just...
Yeah, I mean, it's like extremes that balance. I mean, we see ourselves as a pretty balanced band, but not because we're all like in the middle. You know, we're bringing some different energy to the table. And it's really fun. I mean, we've toured in other iterations and stuff, and it's not always easy, but this Hunter Hunted has been kind of like a pretty smooth sailing
There's
experience.
a Hunter Hunted touring dictionary that one has to reference every once in a while if you're a newcomer into the band, because so many inside jokes like are created that you just like it's hard to keep up. And so we start speaking a different language, you know, and then people around us like who aren't part of the tour like, what are you guys saying? And then we'll be like, oh, just look up. Oh, what is this abbreviation? Oh yeah, it means this. Okay.
We literally have a dictionary, and it's actually like ended relationships. Like, I was dating someone who tried hanging out with us during the tour, and afterwards, we were dating for like 3 years. And then she hung out with us during a tour, and she's like, I'm done, can't hang.
Oh my God.
So it hasn't been always pretty, but like it makes the touring really fun because you have this family of people that you can rely on.